It's not every day you get to get this close to a professional's racing bike, and Victor Campenaerts has said that this morning he's going to give us a full tour around his brand new Orbea for the 2024 season. We came down to the mechanics area early, we found the man's bike, now we've just got to find the man so he can tell us all about it. So Victor, new season, new bike.
This is the Orca Aero. Of course it's an aerodynamic frame as the name says itself. It is a bit more heavy than the climbing bike. It's about 7.5 kilograms. I always go for the classic Cellitalia SLR, always feel good with it. We have a Vision cockpit, it's a one-piece handlebar, it's very rigid. There's a small flare, a bit wider in the drops than on the tops. In the tops the most idle position is when your forearms are horizontal with the ground. When we sprint, we take the drops and we want a bit more lever, that's why it's flared. We have zip wheels, still quite unique in road racing. Zip wheels have hookless rims, and hookless rims, as you can see, give a better shape to the tire. So the low rims, they have an inner width of 25 hookless. I go for 4.0 in the front and 4.2 in the back.
So you can run quite a bit lower pressure basically, and what advantage does that give you?
I wouldn't say a lower pressure gives you an advantage, but the improved surface contact gives the advantage that you especially feel more stable when you tilt the bike in corners. Fast downhills feel a lot more stable. Not so long ago, I'm not too old, but in the beginning of my professional career we would run 28mm tubular tires pumped up to 10 bar. I don't know what's that in PSI, but
a lot.
Yeah. And the bike would be like wobbling all over the roads. But in general, people have the feeling this is fast. When the bike feels very, very stiff, people think it's very fast, and it took some years, but by now all pros realize that there's an optimized tire pressure, and it's not just as the upper limit that the tire says. What else do we have? We have the Vittoria tires. They, for about 1.5 years now, they have the Corsa Pro, which is a very good racing tire. It could be used as a time trial tire in wet conditions. It has low rolling resistance, but it has by far the best grip for a low rolling resistance tire from all brands available. So we are very happy with that tire. Of course, we run tubeless. I think nowadays about everybody goes tubeless. Maybe sometimes the climbers, they go for a tubular option, because it's still a little bit lighter, but then the rolling resistance is a little bit less. So it's only on very steep gradients that the tubular can maybe overrule a tubeless, but in general I would say tubeless is the way to go.
I see you running Shimano Durace Di2. Is that something you've used for a long time?
It's not been there the longest. I think Campenaerts has the greatest history, but with electronic shifting, I think Shimano has the most experience. It's a safe option, it works well, shifts every time, it does the job. We're happy to ride Shimano.
Talk to me, are there any modifications that you personally make to your bike? Any small tweaks or changes that aren't typical?
I would play around a lot with my chain rings. Not at the moment. This is still for training camp, and the first stage race I do, Ruta del Sol, has two very hard stages in the beginning. So then I go with a normal setup, which is nowadays 54-40. Whenever I feel that I can handle a 42 inner chain ring, I go for the 42-58 option, because this gives me advantage on slight downhills. When I go in a aero tuck, you can sometimes out-pedal the other riders.
So with a 58 on the front, what ratio are you riding at the back?
So I have the 11, but actually I want to ride in the 11 the least possible time, because the smaller the cog in the back is, the higher your chain friction becomes. You would actually want to ride with a big chain ring in front and a big cog in the back. this gives the best drivetrain efficiency, but in certain cases you want that 11 to just use the big gear, when sometimes you really see a rider spinning out on the 5411, and when you have the 5811 this can give a bit of extra comfort. And also nowadays SRAM, they have the 10, which is not at all efficient, but it comes in very, very handy at very fast sections, and in some fast downhills you might get in trouble when you have the 5411, and teams with the 5410, when it's high speed and you can't touch the pedals anymore, it doesn't matter if it's really efficient, but if you can put in a bit of extra power, you just can ride riders off your wheel. But I have the 5811, it's about the same ratio, but it's more efficient. We have the FSA cranks, different crank lengths available, and the power box on the FSA cranks is a very accurate power meter.
You pair that, I think there's not one on here, but you use a Garmin head unit, is that right?
Yeah, Garmin, it's by far the leader in the market. They have all kinds of things available. I think the Climb Pro is one of the biggest inventions of the latest years on the head units. And we use it all the time, on training rides, in races.
Just for people who don't know what Climb Pro is, just really quickly, how does that work?
If you're doing a ride on a parcours you don't know, you upload the GPX file. We get it at races available. When you do a group ride nowadays, people share the GPX file, and every climb that is detected will show up on the screen. You can also adjust that you only want to see big climbs, or you can adjust that you even want to see a bridge coming up, and then you see how many climbs are coming up, you see the gradients, you see where the flatter parts are, and that can be a real game changer. We ride the Shimano pedals. Of course it comes with the Shimano group set, but they are very reliable. They have a great big surface contact with your cleat, and we are very happy that the cleats of Shimano, they are well designed. As a pro rider, I think if you replace your cleats 4 times in a year, you're safe to go. With competitor brands, you would say as a pro rider you would have to change your cleats every month at least. And always the moment that you have to change a cleat is a bit a stressful moment, because it has to be exactly the same position. When it's not like that, you can end up with injuries. But we are very happy with the Shimano pedals. They work very well, they do the job, and they're very reliable.
Yeah, very good. Last question for me on this. This is obviously one of the main bikes in your stable. What's the complete range of bikes that you have at your disposal at any one time?
So we have the Orbea Orca Aero, that's this bike. We have the Orbea Orca OMX, that's the climbing bike, very light. I won't be riding that bike so much because I'm not light myself, so it doesn't make really sense. And then we have the Orbea Ordu, and that's the time trial bike.